If you've seen my video on romantic love, then you know I think we've all been sold a false image of what relationships really entail, what love looks like, and the importance placed on it in a committed relationship. So before watching Malcolm and Marie, I saw some people on Twitter talking about how stressful and upsetting the movie was, but I wasn't sure why. And after watching it, I think it was kind of obvious. The movie is basically a 90-minute argument between these two people, and some harsh things are being said between these people that are meant to be in love with each other. People's craziness gets exposed, and neither of them are calling it quits, regardless of how obvious it is that this is an unhealthy situation. And I get it. I get why people were wondering why these people were still there, why neither of them were leaving, especially Marie. But I think the main reason why people found this movie to be upsetting or tense or unsettling is because this isn't what we're used to seeing. This isn't the type of relationship or romance movies that we get shown. And call me toxic, but I kind of found it to be relaxing or refreshing. Now hear me out. I realized early on that I have a weakness for imperfection, stretch marks, cellulite, love handles, and the extremely blunt people that call you an asshole if you're being one. You know, the things that society have said are not okay. As opposed to Photoshop bodies or heavily made up faces and people acting like they're excited to see you when they really want to just rip your head off. That's not reality. And this movie showed us a part of relationships that doesn't get highlighted as much in media. The imperfect part of it, the dark side that you won't see in romantic movies or that your faves won't be posting on their Instagram stories. And maybe they'll come out about it after the relationship ends. But doing either of these two things polarize people to either crave that perfection in their relationship that's been deceitfully portrayed, or be completely put off by the fact that something that looked so perfect had so much problems that this person is only revealing after the relationship ends to kind of justify ending it. These two extreme views are unhealthy in my opinion. The same way taking the only thing Malcolm and Marie shows and thinking relationships are just fights is also unhealthy. What would be better would be to see the bad sides shared as the relationship goes on, as two people choose to move past those bumps and not just the choreographed cute video after the fight has already been resolved with no context whatsoever. But obviously nobody is going to be sharing that. So it's our job as individuals to understand that this is the reality of what is happening when the cameras are turned off, and maybe just stop looking at these outlets or these people as a yardstick for measuring the viability or satisfaction that we have in our own relationships. Malcolm and Marie highlights this moment that might be inevitable in a long-term relationship when one partner gets complacent or too comfortable and another feels like their emotional needs are not being met. Malcolm seems to be oblivious to the fact that Marie has felt undervalued for a long time, and she failed to communicate this until it reached its breaking point tonight after he didn't thank her at his speech. And while I will say that the way they communicated could have been better, I think the fact that they did communicate was a good thing. Even an argument is a form of communicating. It was very emotionally charged, defensiveness on both sides, and also some lack of self-reflection from both of them. Marie didn't realize she was self-sabotaging and self-destructive, and Malcolm didn't realize that he was complacent, arrogant, and narcissistic. They both point this out to each other, and they sort of take it on board. And this showed me how well these two must know each other to be able to see when their partner is deceiving themselves. Malcolm tells Marie that she didn't really try to get the role after she accused him of not wanting her there, pointing out her self-destructive behavior. The same way Marie calls Malcolm out about how he stops caring about people once he knows that they are there for him, pointing out his complacence. They have this constant cycle of being close and being apart, being close and being apart again, as Marie in particular realizes things that she's unhappy with and has just kept in, bottled it up, like in this one scene that I found to be so hilarious.
It's okay. I know. Let's just keep it positive. Happy thoughts. You stay right here. Don't move. You look so beautiful. You stay right here. Okay. You stay right here. Okay. Oh my God. Oh my.
Malcolm.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question and you promise to answer without making me feel like shit?
Yeah.
It wasn't even 5 minutes and her mood just switched. She's been keeping a lot in, and in her words, in order to not stress Malcolm during the whole process of making the movie and filming and everything. But it's had its toll on her, and it's slowly just dissipating or disseminating as the night progresses. As much as she might want to feel better, all these things are just coming out and they're having an impact on her emotional well-being. And understanding how Malcolm is, I wouldn't be surprised if he never checked in with Marie throughout the years of them working on the movie together. But also knowing Marie, it's possible that he did check in and she just said she was fine despite how she was feeling, because as we know, she seems to be comfortable with being inflicted with pain or emotional pain. And honestly, I don't know, it could be either one, it could be neither. But that's what's beautiful about the movie. As much as I want to fault Malcolm only, you also get to see some of Marie's flaws, and that's what relationships are at the end of the day. Two flawed people coming together, and as far as I'm concerned, love is what was shown in the end of the movie, when Marie called out Malcolm for his narcissism and his stubbornness to recognize that he could still improve as a director and a partner. Malcolm's willingness to accept this criticism from the only person that can see this unsavory side of him and deciding to be a better version of himself for his partner is what love is. And Marie's willingness to stay or persevere when things seem to have gotten uncomfortable and it's obviously just easier to leave is what love is as well. And the movie did a good job of keeping that tension whenever we saw Marie was no longer in the house. I'm sure a lot of you felt what I felt, which was, did she finally leave? Because that's what we expect. That's what we're used to. A lot of times we are told if a relationship doesn't feel good, just leave. You know what else doesn't feel good? Going to the dentist, but we still have to do that shit. You know what does feel good? Eating as much candy as you want. But we know that's not good for you. So not everything that feels good necessarily makes you better off, and not everything that you feel bad about makes you worse off. We are biologically wired to seek pleasure. That's why you see people getting easily addicted to things like drugs, and you hear people complaining about having to work on a Monday morning or procrastinating some work that they have to do, because there's no pleasure that you get immediately from doing that. And if you think of your closest friends, these are people that you've probably been able to overcome some of the most difficult times with together. Why isn't that also applied to relationships? Why is there this illusion of what it should look like, that we jump from one to another looking for that perfect one? Why are friendships in movies shown to have such variability, but a meaningful relationship and love are just shown as this one thing or idea? I think the goal should be getting to the point where both partners know that regardless of how big an issue is, they can always discuss it and know that they'll both always put the relationship over pride, jealousy, vengeance, and even love. Because for example, when you work on a passion project, there will be days when you don't love it as much because of how much work or effort it's taking, or it might not be yielding the results that you want. But it's the dedication, commitment, and discipline that allows you to continue working on it despite that, and eventually getting the result or the outcome that you want from that project. And that's the same thing with relationships. They're basically passion projects, and they do require that dedication and commitment to be able to see the fantasy relationship that we all desire. But it's not easy to get there. It reminds me of a saying that a team is only as strong as its weakest member. It's the same way relationship is only as strong as the most difficult thing it's been able to overcome. And this should go without saying, but if you are being emotionally or physically abused by your partner, you should not stay with them. And although the movie is portrayed in black and white, it's showing us that relationships are anything but that. Thank you so much for watching. This is obviously just my take on the movie and my ideology about relationship and love and things like that, and I'm sure a lot of people probably disagree with it because I know the reviews about the movie was largely in the negative. So if you do disagree, let me know in the comment section what you thought about the movie, and if you do agree, let me know as well. I'll be curious to know what you think. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe, like, and share this with your friends or anyone that you think will be interested in seeing it. And I'll see you next time. Peace.